Hello and welcome to the very first Spargur Yarn Crafts podcast. This is rebranded from the Budget Knitter. I am still going to call this episode 42 because I am going to go forward and all of the previous videos are still going to be available. So if you've ever watched an episode that you really enjoy or there's tutorials or anything in there that you would like to take a look at in the future, I'm not going to remove any of those videos or anything. This is just a rebranding for going forward. So I hope that you're as excited as I am. So you've seen the announcement and now the new intro video. So that's what you can expect going forward. I'm going to be trying to do a lot more in the world of quality content, including how I edit and film my videos. So I really hope that you're as excited for this journey as I am. So for those of you who are new, hello and welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. You can find all of my social links in the video description box below, and that's where you can find everything about my dyeing company, everything about me and my designs on Ravelry, and of course all of the other social media places that you can find and follow me and interact with me. So thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who are new to the podcast, I always do all of my yarn related things first, and then we do any type of follow-up yarny things like giveaways or maybe new acquisitions to my stash. And then of course at the end I do life updates. Today there will not be any life updates. I really don't have anything to touch on, but usually those will be at the end for those of you who don't like to stick around for that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into our works in progress. I'm really excited to show you what I've been working on, and I hope you'll be as excited as I am. Okay, so what have I been working on? I've been working on actually quite a few things, some of which I'm going to show, some of which I am not. One of the things I've been working on is my cloak that I've been crocheting, and I'm still on the same color. It doesn't look like a lot has been done, but a lot has been done. But it doesn't really constitute showing yet. I do plan to show it once I've switched to the next color that I'm going to do. But with that being said, I am going to move to something that I've been working on a little bit since the last time I showed it, which has been probably about a month. But again, put in a lot of work on it, but it doesn't feel like it. And that is going to be... well, this project's going to take a while. I just know that. So, I'm doing the Excuse Me dress by Stephen West. Okay, so this is not necessarily the light hitting the paper. This really is just a really light pattern. It's really hard to see this even to me. Anyway, it is a brioche sweater dress, essentially, and I have been putting in as much work as I possibly can on it, And the great thing about this is that it's really not that difficult. If you can brioche a hat, you can brioche this. It's one increase and one decrease, and then the rest of it is just simple brioching in the round in 2-color. So it's a really easy pattern, actually, but I have been putting in as much work as I possibly can, and it just seems like it is taking forever. I want to show you the inside of it too, if I can get all the yarn out of the way. Oops. So here's the inside. So this purple here is actually, I switched on the inside to doing a different color of inside yarn. So there's one in here that's a blue and green blend, and then this one's a purple and green blend. And I did that because I just had these yarns kind of laying around, and I wanted to try them out. I don't have the ball bands for these completely handy. I know that this gray color is Blue Moon Fiber Arts, I believe. It's a sport weight yarn, and it came in a double hank of 660 yards, and I had 2 of them. So I had close to 1,200 yards of this, and it looks like I'm probably only going to use one of those hanks instead of both. But we'll see. The insides didn't really have labels. I've read them in future podcasts, but they're not really easy to track down things. And this purple one that I'm using now didn't have a ball band at all. I don't even know if it's actually wool, because I'm trying to use natural fibers. This would be the first sweater I would have knit in natural fibers instead of acrylic. But I don't know if the purple one I'm using right now is actually natural fibers or not. I hope it is, but, and I'm sure I could test it, and I will later, but I haven't yet. So the great thing about this is that there's this constant increase that goes down the front. It's really hard to show. It's this diagonal that's there, and that increase will go from here across the body and down. Now, the pattern is like ankle length. It's definitely a dress. I'm going to do more tunic length. I'm going to stop when the back reaches a normal sweater length, so that the front is kind of fun and flare down at the bottom, but the back is still a normal sweater length. I think being in Vegas and everything, I'm not really going to need any more than that. So that's where I'm going to end. I'm putting in as much work as I can, and I'm excited to get it done. But brioche it really should be faster, and it does feel faster, but I think it's because it's a sweater. The body of the sweater just takes forever, but it's going to be really nice when I'm done, and I'm actually really excited to finish it. So that is something that I'm actually trying to put in a little bit more work on now that I've kind of finished some of my other smaller projects. Another thing that I started is, actually I started something over. Last podcast I showed a pair of socks I was working on that was kind of in this orange and blue and white colorway. That yarn actually kept splitting so much that I kept having to tie in the yarn, and I was having ends everywhere. So I actually took it out. I ripped it out completely, and I actually hand cranked it on my knitting machine that I got from Michael's. There's a video of that somewhere further back. Anyway, I started over with a new yarn and started another sock. So this yarn is from Skano, and this is a 100% Corriedale wool. So this is a really sturdy sock yarn. And I got this from Skano at Stitches West for like $12. It's a really, really beautiful skein. Here it is, caked up. Oh, by the way, ignore this wrist brace. I've just been doing a lot of crocheting recently, and my wrist isn't really happy with me right now. So this is being knit on US 2s. I finally figured out magic loop, so I'm having a good time with that. I am doing 72 stitches around, and I will do a German short row heel on this pair of socks as I continue to work on them. I actually really love the way this yarn is knitting up. Actually, it looks even more cool on screen than it does in person. So you guys are actually seeing something that I'm not seeing. I like how it looks from that distance. But I started it over because I just needed to. I don't know where that back just went. Oh. And then I have one more finished object to show. Not finished. Work in progress. Who am I today? And I'm going to try not to accidentally rip it out. So, this looks really basic. And that's because right now it is. This is going to be a really simple cardigan when it's done. If you've ever taken a blanket and you've wrapped it around your shoulders and you just wish that the sleeves would be seamed up so you could just wear it and not have to hold it closed, that's essentially what this is. I've done something similar in the past with a blanket that I did when I went to a retreat. I didn't have a jacket and didn't know it was going to be cold in April in California, and so all I had was this blanket I'd been working on. So in order to have something to wear kind of as a coat, I just threw it over my shoulders, I seamed up the sides to have sleeves, and that's what I did. So I really liked that, and I wanted to do it in something a little bit sturdier. The yarn I used for the other one was, it was it was Red Heart Huga yarn, so it didn't really, it was very stretchy, very elastic. So I wanted something that was going to hold its shape a little bit more. So this is Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick Chunky. It's like a number 6 yarn or something. It's really thick. I'm using a 10mm hook and just double crochets. Basically, you just make a rectangle, and then when you go to add the border, you go down the long side, and instead of turning the corner and going down the short side again, you get to the corner, and then you pull the other corner up, and you go down the other long side. So it basically folds it in half with holes on either side, and that's your sleeves. So I'm on ball number 5. I have 11 balls of this. I will not need 11 balls, but I have 11 balls of this. I'm assuming it's probably going to take about 7 or 8, and then I will do the border, and I will just have a really simple cardigan that I can just throw on maybe around the house, or if I'm just out kind of doing something that's not too special, then I can, or maybe just at work I can have it if it gets cold. So that's something I'm working on. Not a whole lot special about it, but that is, if you're interested in crocheting something like that and you're a real beginner, you know, I might write that up and just throw it out to you guys, to whoever wants it. I'm sure somebody has written something like this previously, so that's something I can also look for. But it's going to be a really simple cardigan, and I'm really excited to just go ahead and finish it. It's a really quick project. So that is all of my works in progress. We're going to move on now to the finished objects, of which I only have one, but I am very excited to show it to you, so let's get to it. Okay, the only thing I have finished is this beautiful crocheted sweater. I showed this to you guys in the last podcast. This was maybe 20 hours of crochet time. Like, maybe 20 hours. And it's just a conglomeration of different yarns. This one, okay, so the purple on the collar is Loops and Threads Impeccable. The multicolor here is Red Heart Gumdrop. The solid purple is Red Heart Super Saver. The middle stripes are all one Karen Cake in the fruit salad colorway. And then the sleeves are Endless Impeccable, except for this bit down here on this sleeve, which is just, I don't even know what that was. It was awful. But I just needed something to finish the sleeve. This took about 20 hours crochet time. I used a 5.5mm hook. It's mostly half double crochets. I actually fit really well in this, and I would put it on, but I am sweltering right now. However, you can go to my Instagram to see a picture of me wearing it. There should be a couple pictures actually there of me wearing it. And if I can remember to do so in editing, I will put a picture of me wearing it at the end of the video so you can see it there as well, because I am not going to put it on right now. I am probably about 10 seconds away from sweating my ass off. Anyway, I am really, really proud of this. To get the back and the front to be the same height after you put it on, I don't know if you're familiar with the construction of a sweater or shirts. Most of the time the back is higher than the front of the shirt to accommodate the fact that you have shoulders. And with a lot of sweater constructions, especially really well thought out patterns that go a little bit beyond the basics, they accommodate for that, and you work around the back first until you've kind of built an angled collar so that the front of the collar is below the top. I didn't think about that when I started crocheting this, and I really wish I had, but I knew when I finished the yoke of the sweater that I was gonna need the back to come down, so I kind of faked a short row technique. crocheted short rows aren't, they're a thing, but they're not quite as clean as knitting short rows because of the height of the stitches in crochet. And because I was doing half doubles, it was going to be pretty obvious. Luckily, because the weight of everything just kind of pulls it out, there's no weirdness to it when you actually wear it, when you're looking at it. But the construction of it was a little weird. So there is a short row at the back of my yoke. So if you look here on the front of the sweater, we've got a really short kind of yellow stripe right there. On the back, you can see where I have 3 rows of yellow. And that's where I did my short rows. They kind of culminate right there. That is where the short rows are. It's a really weird thing that I did, and that's not what I want to do. So having knit a raglan that does do more of the shaping at the top immediately, when I go to do this again, I'm going to try that and try the increases until I get where I need to be, and then anyway, I know what I'm trying to say. I'm having a really difficult time conveying what I'm trying to say. But I know what I want to do the next time. And if it works out and I really like it, I do have a couple of people who have asked if I'm going to write it down. And I think I will, but I think I'm going to try it in a way that allows you to kind of customize it to whatever hook and yarn you have. So that's something I'm going to think about. Don't expect a sweater pattern from me anytime soon, but it is something that I would like to have maybe in the next 6 months to a year. So just kind of see how I'm feeling about that as things go on. But that is my one finished object for this podcast. We are going to move on to a couple of acquisitions which are going to lead right into the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so I have a couple of new yarns that I want to show you guys, and these actually came from an awesome person. Her name is Sarah, and she has a podcast here on YouTube called A Curious Cuttlefish. But not only is she a podcaster, she's also a yarn dyer, and she has been recently doing some videos on dyeing different fibers. So cotton, wool, mohair, all kinds of fun different things. She's trying out all these cool techniques. She's really cool. I love her videos. I watch every single one of them as they come out. And what I also really like about her channel is her videos are not ridiculously long, which I find kind of funny that I like to watch shorter videos, but I tend to film longer ones. So it's actually kind of nice because her podcast is maybe about 19-20 minutes long. So if you're a fan of shorter videos, you should definitely check out A Curious Cuttlefish and follow her and watch her podcast. She is awesome. But we decided we were going to do a yarn swap. So she sent me some of her yarns, I'm sending her some of mine, and not only that, but she sent me some of the other stuff from her stash, which I'm also doing for her. But I just wanted to show you what she sent me. So the first thing is this Premier Yarns Hush. It's in this cute little plastic. Anyway, this is a number 5 bulky. It is 100% polyester. It is 88 yards, and does it have a colorway name? I don't know. Nope. Oh, yes, Pajama Party. This one's called Pajama Party. So that's really cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's really cute. Then she also sent me something from Ice Yarns, which I believe is in Turkey, maybe? It is 90% acrylic and 10% nylon. It is a number 4 worsted medium weight yarn, and it's a chained yarn, which is fun. Yes, this is Turkey. It's from Turkey. I don't see a colorway name. Yep, I don't see a colorway name on this, unless it's on the inside of the ball, but it doesn't look like there's anything on the inside of the ball band. So it's kind of like orange and gray. Pretty cool color. Lots of yarn here. It's 450 meters and 200 grams. 450 meters is about 500 yards. Let's see, 400 meters is 437 yards, so 450 would be, yeah, about 500 yards, maybe a little more. So that's cool. I got 2 balls of Lovely Lash Dark Horse yarns made in Turkey. Color 213, 100% polyester, 50 grams for 92 yards. It's that eyelash yarn. fun stuff. I might throw this on my knitting machine. I got 2 balls of Cute from Dark Horse Yarns. 82% polyester, 18% lurex, 100 grams for 66 yards. So this is kind of like eyelash yarn, except it's more like a boucle, but it does have a strand and then all of this other stuff coming off of it. Might be fun to also throw onto my knitting machine and see kind of what comes of that. The last thing is 3 balls of ice yarns. This is Baby 50. It's 100% premium acrylic for 50 grams, 166 meters. Also from Turkey. Really, really nice color. I like the deepness of this color. And the last thing that came with her package was 4 skeins of her absolutely beautiful hand-dyed yarn. I just love the greens and purples in this. These are each 50-gram skeins of 70% Super Kid mohair and 30% extra fine merino wool. It's 202 yards per 50 grams, hand wash only, and this colorway is called Reef Days. You probably can't see that because this camera doesn't do autofocus. Called Reef Days. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. So I love this so much, but I want to pass the love on to you. So that brings us to our giveaway. I am going to give away 2 skeins of this on this podcast, but I also need to announce the winner of last week's giveaway. So last week, I was giving away a skein of this Stitch Studio by Nicole Nouveau yarn, the DK weight yarn, and I asked you guys to tell me what your favorite fingering weight project is. I got some really good suggestions. I got a lot of general things, which is great, but I did get a few specific things, which is actually more what I was looking for. So thank you to everyone who entered. I'm really thankful that you guys knit a lot more patterns than I do. Some of you mentioned the Changing Staircases shawl, which I actually have knit before. I knit it in a cotton yarn for my grandmother for a trip she was taking this summer. So I finished that a couple months ago. So I actually really do love that pattern, and I've actually considered knitting it again in one of my yarns. So that may be what ends up happening. Anyway, so the winner of that skein of yarn is Jeannie's Creations. Jeannie's Creations, I'll put that somewhere here so that you can see that. Please email me, and we've actually switched the email. We're going to start using the Spargur Yarn Co at Gmail. We're going to filter everything through that so I can keep track of it in one place. So Spargur Yarn Co at gmail.com. That email is in the video description box below. Please email me your mailing address so that I can get that skein of yarn out to you. Congratulations! With that being said, for this week, so that you can win 2 skeins of this beautiful mohair wool yarn, in the comments section, please tell me who your favorite designer is. It can be knit, it can be crochet. If you sew more than you do yarn craft, tell me maybe who your favorite sewing designer is. But yes, in the video description box below, tell me who your favorite designer is, and on the next podcast, I will pick a winner, and you will win 2 skeins of a Curious Cuttlefish's yarn, and I'm really excited to give that to you. It is so soft. You guys are going to love it. I love it. I actually have something in zombie yarns, I believe, that is of similar colorway. I think it's got the same purples and greens in it, and I think that that mohair would pair perfectly with that, so I'm probably going to maybe do a hat or a cowl or something with those held double. So I'm really excited to get to that soon. And by soon, I mean when I've finished the exhaustive list of things I have going. So yeah, awesome! Now, that is actually everything I have for the podcast this week, because I don't have any life updates, and I'm trying really hard not to buy new stuff. So, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that we will continue to grow and be this family that I've come to really love and enjoy being a part of. So thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you're new, definitely subscribe because there's going to be lots of more awesome content to come. So thank you again for joining me. I will see you all again soon here on the Spargur Yarn Crafts podcast channel. Bye.